Good evening, I'm Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange live on Citizen Television. And you know, if it's Wednesday, it's all about JKL. My guest tonight is the governor of county number 22, Kiambu County. Governor William Kabogo is in the house. He's going to be fielding your questions and mine tonight. By the way, I must add at this point, I had invited his opponents to come and debate tonight. Both Ferdinand Waitito, a.k.a. Babayao, and Dr. James Nyoro declined. We begged and begged. They declined. So it's just the governor and myself. In fact, we're asking you a poll question tonight, much like we did a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Evans Kidero. We're asking, would you vote for William Kabogo in the August 8th election? Simple answer, yes or no. We'll tally the votes at the end of the show. We'll show the results. You can SMS us at 22422. You can also tweet us at Governor W. Kabogo. That's his Twitter handle. Mine at Koinange Jeff. You can also use at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag, as always, JKLive. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Winnie Adoyo. Jeff Koinange Live begins right now, tonight.
Alafu anakuja na laumu huyu ndugu yangu na yeye ndio alikuja kuwasha moto. Nani aliwasha moto? Nani alikuwa na lugha ya 40 against 1?
Kenyatta and Odinga renew blame game over the 2007 post-election violence. Worsening drought dominates world water day as Ndakaine Dam sinks to a historic low. Chop my money. The extravagant lifestyle of 4 billion shilling hacking suspect revealed. And Deputy President William Ruto and his childhood friend defy change of fortunes to keep it tight. Welcome to the broadcast. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has reopened the post-election violence blame game account by directly accusing opposition leader Raila Odinga of inciting the chaos. The president, who successfully defended himself alongside Deputy President William Ruto at the International Criminal Court over his alleged involvement in the chaos, now says Odinga triggered the mayhem by running an ethnically divisive campaign to unseat retired President Mwai Kibaki. Odinga has promptly dismissed the claims. We're going to have that story with you very shortly. Now, at the same time, the Electoral Commission has cancelled the 3 billion shilling integrated election management system tender. In a letter to the South African company that had reached the tender valuation stage, Commission CEO Ezra Chiloba cites budgetary and time constraints for the cancellation. The opposition has, however, termed the move as an excuse to use a manual system during the general election, as Jackie Maribe now tells us.
Protracted legal wars have threatened the IEBC's ability to meet its set timelines for the general election, and tender wars have been blamed for derailing the poll body's path, as such making the cancellation of its KM's tender official. The poll body had on December 16th last year advertised a tender to procure technology known as the Kenya Integrated Election Management System, or KIMS, but that was challenged twice before the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, informing the Commission's decision to stop the process altogether. In its termination letter, IEBC, through its CEO Ezra Chiloba, says the law requires the technology to be in place by 10th of April this year, and the Commission should as such have had it by end of March for use on 10th May. Thus, quote, the Commission has lost important lead times due to litigation over the tender. The Commission also cites substantial technological change, saying, quote, the Commission considered that the scope of technology requirements had changed following the recent conclusion of the mass voter registration drive. Therefore, there would be no value for money to retain the voter registration component in KIMS at present. But IEBC believes it is still within its timelines.
We are actually working to make sure that nothing stops us from giving Kenyans the election they are waiting for on the 8th of August.
Siaya Senator James Orengo, however, argues the IEBC should not hide behind ongoing litigations and now blames Jubilee of trying to build a case for amendment of the Elections Act to enable IEBC conduct a manual election. In a statement, Orengo says, quote, without the establishment of an integrated electronic electoral system, no valid elections can be held in Kenya. Meanwhile, the Attorney General, Professor Gethu Muigai, says aspirants will be subjected to integrity questions in the wake of dubious education examination certificates being presented to state agencies.
One of the major areas of our concern in this integrity testing would be a basic one. Do you hold the educational qualifications that you claim to hold?
Jackie Maribe, JKL.
Thank you, Jackie. Now, the postponement of a much-publicized meeting among the NASA 4 principals is fanning concerns that all is not well within the coalition. Although Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula insist NASA remains solid, this week's developments, coupled with comments from their lieutenants, paint a different picture. Sam Ogina reports.
The opposition alliance is faced with a delicate balancing act on the modalities of picking its presidential flag bearer. A crucial meeting for the 4 opposition principals, scheduled for Tuesday, failed to kick off despite wide publicity. While ODM party leader Raila Odinga had returned on Monday evening ahead of the Tuesday's unity talks, Wiper party leader Kalonzo Musyoka departed for Dubai, while Ford Kenya party leader Moses Wetangula left for Mombasa, throwing the meeting in limbo. The scattered talks coming hot on the heels of Wiper Party pushing for the recognition of the 2013 MOU with ODM to form the basis of picking NASA's flag bearer.
There was an agreement signed by both lawyers of ODM and Wiper that 2013 they support Raila Odinga and 2017 they support Kalonzo Musyoka. It's an issue that has brought some discomfort, and it has to be addressed because the Kamba nation is waiting for their son to be crowned the flag bearer.
Yes, indeed, there is an issue with the MOU that was signed in 2013. But I think these issues can be discussed.
A planned Wednesday rally at Uhuru Park was also postponed, apparently to wait Kalonzo's return back into the country. The rally is now scheduled for Friday.
We are in NASA to stay.
Odinga spent his day at his Capitol Hill office in Upper Hill, meeting a team of ODM legislators. Yesterday, Odinga was also in Osho at the ODM party's youth aspirants meeting at the party headquarters. This despite an invite confirming his attendance. Insiders say the matter of picking a presidential flag bearer for NASA is a monumental contest that is testing the unity of the coalition. The 4 principals pulling in their different directions with no one willing to cede ground. The principals apparently concerned that ceding ground would rattle their support bases and provoke a potential backlash. NASA keen to unveil its flag bearer in May, close to the IEBC deadline for the presidential nominations.
Come the appropriate time, you're going to get the person you're looking for.
Sam Ogina for JKL.
Thank you, Sam. Now, a series of social media posts have lifted the veil on the lavish lifestyle of a man accused of hacking into KRA computers and stealing nearly 4 billion shillings. For nearly a year, Alex Mutuku has been bragging about his money and travels in several countries, as Will Kiston Nyabwa now tells us.
A smiling Alex appeared in the dock on Tuesday, calm as he waited to hear the charges against him, his demeanor belying the gravity of the situation. A peek at Alex Mutungi Mutuku's Facebook page, painting a picture of a fun-loving young man leading an extravagant life. It is instantly clear that two of his greatest loves are motorcycles and traveling. Since January, his social media page tracing his journey through Eastern and Southern Africa.
Yeah.
Before he headed to India, trips that appeared to be for leisure, and he wasn't shy about sharing news of his good fortune. In one post, Alex, posing near a flashy motorcycle, gave thanks for a house, 2 cars, his motorcycles and a dog, saying he could not ask for more. And just before Christmas, he flaunted his riches, saying in a Facebook post, and I quote, "Tumia pesa ikuzoe." In another, he appeared to mock the myth of January brokenness. What is not clear from all the posts is just how he earned the sums of money that enabled him to lead this lavish life. In a post dated 21st February, Alex urged people in their 20s to test themselves, advising them not to listen to play it safers, salaried people who depend on paychecks. 28-year-old Alex is reported to have attained a first-class honours in commerce from the University of Nairobi in 2012, specializing in the business information systems option. In the very last post before his arrest, Alex would accuse naysayers of making up stories about him.
What is stated at paragraph 18.
12 days after that post, he was charged with hacking the Kenya Revenue Authority computer systems, accused together with 6 others of getting away with a sum just shy of 4 billion shillings. This in addition to another pending cybercrime case filed against him. Alex was arrested after police were informed that financial institutions were losing cash through suspicious electronic transactions. He has been detained until March 28th, when a ruling on his bail application will be made.
We are live on Facebook. Oh, wow. Hi.
The future of the sandcastles the IT guru allegedly built on lies now uncertain. Wilkis Anyabwa, JKL.
Oh my. Thank you, Wilkistas. Now, water levels in the Detained Dam have fallen to a historic low, prompting fears that water shortage could worsen in Nairobi. Now, this came to light as Kenya joined the rest of the world in marking World Water Day amid calls to harvest water during the expected long rains. Sylvia Chebet has that story.
In June last year, Detained Dam was at its maximum capacity at 65 meters high. Come January, the levels had dropped by 17 meters to 48 meters. Now it has dropped by another 8 meters to 40 meters. It is a drastic drop that has seen the water levels at the dam that supplies 84% of Nairobi's water recede from 70 billion litres in June last year to 32 billion litres in January and to 19 billion litres right now. Authorities in Dakaine fear that the situation is getting worse by the day, with the sporadic showers experienced having no impact at all. And as the world marked this year's World Water Day, the situation in the capital could grow even worse, following the weatherman's prediction that the long rains starting at the end of March will be depressed even in the dense Aberdare forest, where the rivers feeding Dakaine Dam originate. Should the long rains fail, Nairobi residents who are already facing water rationing will experience even tougher times between the months of July to September.
We are also building 40 new boreholes within Nairobi to be able to recharge the Nairobi water system. And this, we're spending 200 million. As a national government, we put in 100 million, and the county government of Nairobi has put in 100 million. So we will be able to address the water situation in Nairobi.
Countrywide, 3 million people are in dire need of water and food assistance to survive the biting drought that has ravaged half of Kenya's 47 counties. The United Nations launched a 17 billion shilling flash appeal asking the international community to support Kenya in relief supplies and water tracking. Sylvia Chebet, JKL, Citizen TV.
Thank you, Sylvia. Now, listen to this next story. Every man has a childhood friend with whom they walked the journey to adulthood. But often, life sends such friends on different paths to contrasting status. For Clement Koskei, such a friend is Deputy President William Ruto. And while material fortunes have not favored the Kamagut-based villager, unlike his famous friend, Clemendi, as Koskei is famously known, is content with an occasional reunion.
It has not been a smooth journey. Kilemendi could certainly do with a better bike. And although his old motorbike slows down his life, it doesn't kill his optimism for a brighter future. But then, Kilemendi is not exactly your average villager, at least going by his friends.
Mara nyingi wanakuja hapa wanaambia, wewe William namna gani bwana wewe? Ana mwingine hapo anaitwa Kilimendi, tulikuwa hii Kilimendi, unajua huku Mheshimiwa Rais, huku mtu anaitwa Clement, huku anaitwa Kilimendi.
Life's a journey, they say. Kilemendi trots with his old motorbike on the dirt road of Kamagut village. These roads he's known all his life. 49 years ago, this same dirt road in Kamagut village, Uasin Gishu County, would lead him and William Ruto to the Kamagut Primary School. And though much has changed over the years, this mud-thatched class still stands. And down the memory lane, Kilemendi would tell us of a friendship that would pass the test of time.
Yeye alikuwa anapendanga debate sana. Wa darasa yetu, yeye ndiye alikuwa anaongoza.
That entering Kamagut is a blessing became true for the two childhood friends. As neighbors, they would use the same path to education.
Watoto wa njia moja, sana sana darasani tulikuwa tunaelewana. Lazima muwe team up. Kama kuna watu walikuwa wamechezea nyinyi wakati ya katikati, wengine umeandikwa noisemaker hapo katikati, wakati ya kufunga shule sasa tulikuwa tunaandamana na wengine wa pande nyingine, tunawachapa ndio tukimbie tuende nyumbani.
One class, two friends with different paths in life that changed their status but not Kilemendi's perception.
Madaraka ni yake, lakini uhusiano ni yetu na yeye.
Changing fortunes have necessitated a change of lifestyle for the DP. That means, for instance, accessing him is no longer a walk-in affair thanks to the security cordon around him. But Kilemendi has not allowed his friends' VIP status come between them.
Unajua kupita security ni ngumu. Lazima sasa ukae kwa watu ukae mbele.
When his friend William was going through a tough time, the burial of his brother, Kilemendi would attend the burial.
Nikahurumia rafiki yangu kwa vile ilikuwa siku yani ndugu yake alikuwa ameaga. Yeye naye amesikia uchungu.
His friend had other friends with him.
President anakuita. Nikafikiri kwanza ni uongo.
They would all sit at the high table with friends in high places, with newspaper cuttings as part of a good memory. He says his chat with the president lasted more time than our interview with him.
Ile muhimu kabisa aliniambia nifanye kazi ili niweze kusomesha watoto.
Kilemendi would do so. He is educating his 10 children out of his on and off business of selling cows. And his motorbike business, well, not as promising, but he soldiers on in life's journey. This 3-bedroom house is yet to be completed. He is building it himself at his own pace. It's taken him 15 years, and the work of his hands pleases him. He's contented with aching a living the hard way.
Sasa uwanga naridhikanga na yangu. Nikiwa na baskeli, ukiwa na gari, ndasifu baskeli yangu.
He may be outspoken by nature, but Kilemendi refuses to be drawn into discussing if his friendship with the DP and the president has brought him any material or cash fortune. But he is clear that no promises or lack of them will come between their friendship. Life is a journey, they say, and when the two childhood friends would part ways at this junction, with Deputy President using this route to head home and Kilemendi using this other route to head home, despite life taking them to different routes, their friendship
still remained intact.
At his home, Kilimendi is the undoubted VIP. He may never experience the trappings of power enjoyed by his friend William, but he is happy in his own castle, or, as he puts it, bite what is yours and be happy. After all, he's not just Clement Kosgei, but Kilimendi, the childhood buddy of the DP. For now, Kilimendi is a simple villager, happy to count his friends in high places. Mercy Kandie, Citizen TV, Kamagut Village, Uasin Gishu County.
Nice, Kilimendi. Good job there, Mercy. Thank you. So, let's take a look at some of the stories that made headlines today. Here's Saida Swale.
The government insists that doctors will not be paid for the time that they were on strike. Government spokesman Eric Kiraithe says it is unreasonable for doctors to demand payment for days not worked.
There is a very big difference between demonstration, picketing, processions, and mass violence. You have seen, just recently seen doctors and lecturers spending all their time in the street dancing, complete with the brass bands. That is a demonstration, that is picketing.
Still in the corridors of justice in Milimani Law Court, a prosecutor has been jailed for a day after failing to produce witnesses and for contempt of court by resident magistrate Tobiko Sinkiyan. The magistrate also ordered the state prosecutor to pay a fine of 25,000 shillings, failure to which Willie Momanyi will serve an additional 5 days in jail. The case involves an official of National Council of Non-Governmental Organizations who is accused of stealing 11 million shillings. The magistrate was incensed by the prosecutor's failure to close the case that had been pending for 6 years after the unexplained absence of witnesses. And in Narok town, Joseph Kariuki reportedly hanged himself on Tuesday evening after losing 9,000 shillings in a sports bet. Witnesses claim Kariuki hoped to win in the bet to get money to pay off a bank loan and house rent.
Itana mara tatu, scorpion, hakuwa anaitika. Ndio maana kuchungulia pale nikakuta rafiki yangu amehang hapo.
The father of two who lived alone while selling DVDs allegedly tried to commit suicide in 2015 after the floods swept away his house and his business. Saida Swale for JKL.
Thank you, Saida. Now, news from further afield, and British police this evening shot and killed a suspected terrorist outside the Houses of Parliament in London after an officer was stabbed in what was described as, quote, a terrorist incident. Witnesses say a car also plowed into several bystanders on the nearby Westminster Bridge before crashing into railings outside Parliament. The building in the heart of the British capital was immediately sealed off, and MPs and staff ordered to remain inside. Reports suggest that 12 people were left with, quote, catastrophic injuries. Scotland Yard has confirmed that the attack is being treated as a terrorist incident. No terrorist organization has so far claimed responsibility for the incident. All right, time for a quick short break, the first one of this episode. And we're asking you the question, would you vote for William Kabogo as governor in the August elections? Governor William Kabogo is my guest tonight. Governor, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Like the boots, man. Like the boots.
Thank you.
Very good. We're going to be talking to you shortly. We have a poll out. You can tweet the governor himself at Governor W. Kabogo. You can tweet me at Koinange Jeff. Also at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag JKLive. Lots of questions, Governor, from people, especially about roads, infrastructure, all that stuff, health facilities. Excellent. Stay with us. Jeff Koinange Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Take the Readiness Index test on www.safaricom.co.ke/readybusiness to find out and get tailor-made solutions for you. Become a ready business. Take the Readiness test today.